Okay. Welcome. Thanks so much for joining the first pathway session. I'm here today with Gary Irwin-Kenyon, who's a veteran, I would say, of the space, professor of gerontology and author and 30-year plus Tai Chi teacher, who we're very lucky to have guiding us through the stillness session. Gary, could you just say hi?
Hello, everyone.
And alongside two, also, I think we're very lucky, two senior industry figures in the long-term care industry, co-founders of Person-Centered Universe, a dementia education and consulting company, Ashley King and Daphne Noonan.
Everyone.
Hi, everyone. Okay. Now, and me, oh yeah, me, from Lifelong Inspiration, I'm Rahzeb Choudhury. Okay, so these sessions are really about you finding stillness, calm in the storm that is the ongoing and drawn out storm that is long-term care under the circumstances of COVID. And about person-centered care, about just taking the steps to reconnect with the things that we think are important to be able to provide better and better person-centered care. So in the email, you'll have seen the formats are very much kind of structured in this way, that we try to find calm at the beginning. Gary guides us through that, and Ashley and Daphne then take over and guide us through a section around person-centeredness. Okay, I'm going to stop talking and hand over to Gary, who's going to talk us through a stillness session. Over to you, Gary. Thank you.
Thanks, Rahzeb. Thank you very much. It's really a pleasure to work with you and Daphne and Ashley again. And I'd like to welcome everybody to this session. In this series, I invite you to expand the story you're living and to discover that stillness really works. In each of the sessions, I'll begin by sharing about what stillness is and why it is so vital to our lives. Then I will invite you to join me in a stillness practice. So let's begin by exploring some things we might be able to say about stillness. Culturally and biologically, we're accustomed to doing, controlling, fixing, managing problems. Doing has a definite role to play in our lives. However, when pushed too far, we respond with fight, flight, freeze, and we experience anxiety, fear, and distress. This is coming from our avoidance mode. So to speak, the lion will eat us. These days, we are all being pushed way beyond our normal limits as we try to do the right thing as caring people, professionally and personally. However, the result increasingly is burnout, mental, physical, and spiritual. Our nervous system is not designed for prolonged stress. My question is, how can we continue to help others if we do not care for ourselves? A very good physician friend and colleague of mine used to say that we are very good at caring for others, but not so good at caring for ourselves. As the pandemic continues, many of us are realizing that we just can't do it all, and we can't do it alone either. We need support from each other. We need something more, and that is to bring stillness into our lives, which is our approach, our nurture mode biologically, or what we could call our being mode. That's a more recent part of our evolution. It involves compassion, self-compassion, letting go, yielding, acceptance, being aware of limits, and being able to step back and follow what is happening. Stillness practice brings us to the present moment, where there is space, rest, and some peace. You can give yourself permission to be tired, to grieve, to smell the roses, to seek help. Humor can also help. Stillness practice slows your monkey mind in Tai Chi we call the monkey mind or the thinking mind, and creates an opening or a space for a larger story of how you can be in your world. You're still doing your work and living your life, but with a new component. Over time, with stillness practice, you will find that you are better able to deal with change, be more resilient, and not be overwhelmed. You will find that the practice spills over into your daily life. You could say that practice builds your stillness muscle, to use the metaphor. Stillness practice is part of self and other, what I call core care. It's not just an add-on, it's a necessary part of what we need. And the good thing is, all you need to find stillness, all you need to do is to show up. At this point, I'd like to invite you to join me in a stillness practice based on Tai Chi. It's important to have no expectations from this practice, because if we have expectations, it means that we're trying to achieve, instead of just letting it go. Stillness comes and goes kind of at its own pace, but it is there. So you do not need to get anything right. There's nothing to achieve. Just be with it and relax. Now, if you don't have any time, start with stealing 2 minutes or 5 minutes for yourself. It's best to practice for a short time more often, but this is about whatever works for you. You may try one or both of the movements I'm going to show you. Again, whatever works for you, without creating still more stress in your life. In the following sessions, we will repeat these movements and provide you with additional guidelines. If you follow the series, you will deepen your understanding of the practice, but you will not lose out if you happen to be here for the first time. You may practice these movements from either a standing or seated position. So I'm going to stand up now and invite you to stand up or continue being seated if that works for you. In Tai Chi, we talk about movement in stillness and stillness in movement. Movement in stillness means that you're standing still, but you are following some guidelines that help you relax and get your chi, which is Tai Chi, the energy going. Energy kind of relates to stillness because it helps you relax and feel good. So what we're going to do first of all, I just invite you to put your one thumb on your navel so your palm is below your navel, and then put the other palm on top of that. What we're going to do here is just as you breathe in, gently press in under your stomach and breathe up. And breathe as deeply as possible, but comfortably. You don't need to force anything. Just breathe in. You can have your eyes open or closed. Breathe in, press in under the stomach. And as you breathe out, allow your tummy to relax. Try again. You can do this a few times at your own speed. Just take your time, breathe in. Allow your breath to come out. Let's try a couple without me talking. Okay, so again, just press in under your navel. Breathe in. As you breathe out, relax your tummy. Try a couple more. Okay, from there, I invite you just to move your arms to the side of your body and making a gentle curling of your fingers like a soft fist. And relax your shoulders. Have your tongue lightly at the roof of your mouth. Relax your knees, drop your knees, and relax your hips. These are a few instructions, but don't worry if you don't get them all the first time. They're the same every time we do it. And then from here, again, with your eyes open or closed, I like to have my eyes closed for this. Breathe into your forehead and your eyes area. So as you're breathing in, put your attention into your eyes and your forehead. Just picture everything relaxing. 2 breaths there. And then go to your mouth and jaw. Let your mouth fall open a bit if you like. Relax your jaw, relax your mouth. Okay, so those are movement in stillness. So we aren't moving, but things are happening. The second one I'll show you is called the wave. And that's stillness in movement, because we're going to move a little bit. So what you do there, again, just relax your knees, drop your hips. We drop the hips because you want the pressure to be on your thighs, not your knees. You should never have any knee problems doing these movements. Then turn your palms out. And what we're going to do is take a nice deep breath, breathing in as you come up, palms up, about shoulder height. Try not to lift your shoulders if you can. Just let them stay where they are. Turn the palms over, float back down as you breathe out. Turn the palms out again. Breathing in, lift. Turn the palms over. Float back down as you breathe out. Don't lose your breath. If you need to take an extra breath, moving and coordinating your hands, just do that. It's all about you. Okay, breathe out, float back down. Do a couple more to get a feel for it. Palms up, nice and slow. Also relax your elbows. Don't make anything rigid. And one more. And turn over, down. Okay. So you may find that if the first thing you hopefully found from doing any of these movements is you just feel more relaxed than when you came in. And I would encourage you, again, without putting pressure on you, I'd encourage you to try even a couple of minutes, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, wherever you can. If you happen to have a noisy household or you're at work, I sometimes will go to a closet, or it might sound funny, but even to the bathroom. If I'm traveling, I'm in a hotel room with other people, I just go in the bathroom, close the door and do them. You don't need much room. So those are some reminders, and you'll be able to practice hopefully. And I look forward to seeing you in the next session, where we'll add a couple more, we call them refinements to the moves as well. So thank you very, very much. I'll say namaste and back to Rahzeb.
Hey, thanks so much, Gary. That was great. Now, so thanks from Cindy Donovan, Gary. Now we go back to basics with Daphne. She's going to talk us through a visualization exercise.
Hi, everyone. I'm just going to jump right into an imagery exercise that is going to take 2 parts. And following the exercise, my partner Ashley is going to give a little bit of a recap of the exercise. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get you to write down, I'm going to set a timer and I'm going to get you to write down a list of every house in which you have ever lived that you can remember. So I'm going to set my timer for about a minute, and I'll ask you to start writing now. Okay, so I'm going to bring everybody back to my voice for the next part of the exercise. So for this next stage, what I'd like you to do is to choose one house from the list that you have just created. And once you've done that, I'll get you to do whatever makes you feel comfortable. So you could, same thing as Gary said, open your eyes or sit or stand, whatever you feel most comfortable. I'm going to take you on a short journey back to revisit this memory of this house. So I'll ask you to get a clear picture of the house from the outside in your mind. Just notice what you see outside. As you approach the house, is there perhaps a garden in the front or a busy street? Perhaps a long winding lane that leads up to the house. As you approach the house to go in, just step inside and I'll ask you to think about the first thing that you hear. What's the first thing that you smell? What do you see? As you look around and take in the inside of the house, do you notice any favorite places or perhaps favorite objects, such as a piece of furniture or a picture or a photograph on the wall? Are there any people in the house? Any pets? And just as you're sort of taking everything in, I'll suggest that you just take a moment and wander around the house and see if there might be a favorite spot that you'd like to visit. Spend a few seconds in that memory. And then slowly, when you're ready, come back to the session. So just a couple of things I'll point out before Ashley begins her recap is this is just for your own reflection a little bit later if you like, but or you could put any thoughts in the comments as well, because we'll be circulating those. You probably noticed a couple of things. One is the difference between the memories that you were experiencing in the first part of the exercise versus the second part. So the first part, it was probably coming kind of very fast and furious, and you were remembering things that you had, no idea that you could remember. The second part of the exercise was a lot more still and kind of a deeper visit into a very specific memory and a lot more sensory. And so I would just ask you to kind of reflect on the experience and whether or not you would, were you surprised by anything? Did you experience more than one emotion? The power of that exercise is quite profound, I think. So.
Absolutely. Thank you, Daphne, for sharing that exercise. And thank you, Gary. So through these exercises, we hope that you've been able to be reminded of what home means to each and every one of us and what stillness means to each of us. We're all unique. Our experiences are unique and varied, just like person-centeredness. And so often when we're caring for residents, patients, and neighbors living with dementia, we often hear that they want to go home. As you see through the reflective exercise that Daphne just completed, Home evokes powerful emotions, both positive and negative, yet the stories and the narrative of someone's story is at the core of their being. It's all at the center of person-centered care. In the days and weeks to come, I encourage you to get back to what we know matters, as many of us are person-centered care experts, and we live and breathe person-centered care. We want you to get back to the basics of person-centered care. And that really is about supporting not only our residents and our clients, but ourselves. Remember that we're all unique beings who have our own identities and are a culmination of all of our experiences and our homes, as Daphne shared. Through this trying time that is COVID, we're exhausted, we're all burnt out, and we're really struggling with caring and compassion fatigue after being the family of our residents and patients for the last 18 months. For many of us, having watched beloved loved ones pass away through this pandemic, we ask that you simply remember the narrative of your residents and lean on that experience and that support that you've been able to provide them when you have a resident who you're struggling to meet their needs. Think about the narrative, about the stories, and let emotion lead the way in your conversations. Find out more about the deep-rooted identity that may be overshadowed by dementia, possibly by isolation, or possibly by the disease. There are many contributing factors, but at the core, it's someone's identity. So in taking these moments, it will also allow you to reconnect in the purpose of the work that we do. Oftentimes we may find that hard right now. And remind us that our purpose and the work that we do is what we care so deeply about. We're here for the right reasons. We're here for compassionate reasons. As you've seen through the houses exercise, narrative care is for all of us. It encourages stillness and well-being, and we can all benefit from narrative care as a healing and person-centered practice. So again, we just want to thank you for today, and I'll pass it over to my colleagues.
Thanks so much. Thank you. Thank you, Ashley. So I want to just take a moment to mention the next session. So the next session will be in 3 weeks' time. I'm just putting it up on your screen now. On Thursday, November the 18th, Gary will go deeper into stillness, as it were. And maybe it's a good time to just re-emphasize what he mentioned, that these things work well when you repeat them and you build them into your day. So at the beginning of a break, when you're driven home and you know you're going to walk into a busy household, when you're going into work, when the day has taken over and all these unexpected things happen and you're pulled out of your rhythm, step back, take a moment for yourself and try these exercises. And all four of us have felt the benefit of just how these simple back to basic steps can help you through a day and can help you over the long term. And then the second part of the session, next time in 3 weeks, we want to begin thinking again together about setting person-centered goals. So that's probably going to be more than just a few minutes. I think it takes a period of time for us to kick that conversation off. And it's something that we'd very much like to work with you to think through. Okay, that was it from me. And if you can't wait and you want to dive really straight away into stillness and go deeper, then I really recommend Gary's book, Pathways to Stillness. And on the screen, you can see many ways that you can access this fantastic resource. Okay, now I think that was it from us. Thanks so much. Bye-bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Hi, thank you.
Thank you for joining.